Hi guys, so here we have a classic exam question based around genetic crosses, genetic squares, Punnett squares, and screening for genetic diseases. So read the question carefully and underline your keywords. That's going to be my first tip. So here we have some key information. We have a condition which is caused by a dominant allele. That's very important. Now, fetuses with this condition that are homozygous for this allele, so they have two big X's because it's dominant, are rarely born alive. So if they get two of these, then they die. Okay. Now there's two parents here that are considering having a child. They both have the disease. They both have the disease, but they're alive. That must mean that they are carriers of this and they are heterozygous. So let's put that into a Punnett square. So we can take heterozygous. Remember, hetero meaning one big, one small. So we have big X and a small x, and we have a big X and a small x. You're going to get a lot of marks for this because you're taking information here, and that's a skill, and you're working out the genotypes, and then you're making a prediction. So this is a good, healthy question. So we can put those in. We can have homozygous for the dominant allele. We can have heterozygous, and we can have homozygous for the recessive allele. So if you see this here, there's a 1 in 4 chance of the fetus not making it out alive. Okay, there's a 1 in 4 chance of the baby being healthy, and there is a 50% chance of the baby being a carrier but not necessarily suffering from the disease. So it's a quite high chance that the fetus will have it and will die. So the parents, rightly so or wrongly so, depending, that's what we need to talk about, will think about screening for the disease. So testing before the baby is born. Now there's various different ways of doing it, but they all have their pros and their cons. Okay. Now the advantages, you could say, are less stress for the parents, so them knowing what the outcome will be or what their baby will be suffering from. You could say that they'll be able to prepare themselves, so they could prepare themselves for a child that's carrying it and not necessarily suffering it, or prepare themselves that for an early death. I guess it's not a nice thing to think about. And you want to just really be talking about having an informed choice to make. I guess that's in terms of abortion, really, or whether or not to have the baby. Disadvantages of having screening, guys, is that being screened or tested, if you're removing cells, there is a risk of miscarriage. Okay, there is a risk that you have false positives or negatives, which could lead you to keeping a baby if you think it's going to be healthy, but actually the test was wrong and it comes out and you're not prepared for the worst, or that you abort a baby thinking it's going to have the disease, but actually it doesn't, and so that's a thing to think about. And another disadvantage could be the cost of the screening if it involves IVF. So taking embryos outside and testing them, and that's it really. So there's a few options to weigh up there. A genetic cross, and that's a classic question. Good luck.